Okay, now our breathing rotation exercise, we've set up the mats. Now the most important part is the rolled mat, and that will be the one that comes across here. If you do have two yoga mats, then it doesn't really matter which one's where, but I've accordion styled a towel for the support along my spine, and where this is gonna go is actually just below your shoulder blades. Okay, so how you gauge which if whether you're too high or too low is by what your ribs do when you lie down on this. Okay, so if I'm sitting too high, make sure my head's in the way. So if I'm sitting too high, you can kind of see that my ribs are kind of popping up, right? Now if I move ever so slightly down on it, my ribs sit low. So that's really, really important. And now I feel like my head needs a little bit more support, so I'm just gonna give it the support it needs. Okay, and you wanna make sure that your ribs are not flaring up. And just play with it. You'll notice a big difference between going too high, where your ribs kind of sit there, as opposed to just moving like a few centimeters, and you'll feel like they'll sit down. Now the pressure point, most of us will feel a little bit of an ache there, because that's a hinge point that we tend to create, and we're creating movement elsewhere. So don't be alarmed by a little bit of an ache, but it actually feels pretty good. And what you're gonna do is just let your arms hang out to the side. Now initially, you're just gonna take a few breaths, and you're trying to relax the best that you can in this position, right? And let the tissue settle, okay? So then what you're gonna do is you're going to take one leg and you're gonna cross it over the other. Okay, so when I go to do that, don't just cross. Do you see how much my hips rotated to do that? What you wanna do is lift your leg up, rotate it out, and then cross, so that you're not involving your pelvis. And your teaching tool here is gonna be this rolled yoga mat. You wanna make sure that your ribs more or less stay in contact with that mat, because you're gonna cross your leg over, and then what you're gonna do is rotate yourself to one side. Now you're only gonna rotate as far as you can keep this in contact with the mat, okay? As you start to rotate, you'll feel like it starts to lift, and then what you're gonna do is relax it down. So you're breathing yourself back out of that tension, okay? Because if you start to rotate this way and your ribs lift, if you can't breathe it back, then you're gone too far. So the gauge of how far you're gonna rotate with some stability is based on whether you can relax this side back down, okay? Now you're gonna keep your legs still crossed in that position, and you're gonna rotate the other way. Now for me, I'm a little bit more tight going this way, so I can't rotate as far. It's really not about how far you get, but your ability to breathe. Let your breath teach you what you're capable of, because if you listen to that, then you're going to get that rotation with stability a lot quicker than if you just force the range, okay? So now I'm gonna rotate to that side, and then I wanna breathe the opposite side back. And you're gonna do that for about 5 breaths. So I should have done 5 breaths here before I switched to the other side, okay? And then you're gonna do the same thing with your other leg crossed. So I'm rotating. It doesn't matter which way you start that rotation. It's just about being relaxed. And you're always paying attention to what your weight distribution or your contact with this rolled mat is through your ribs. And you're breathing it back. Okay, and then of course you do the other way. Okay, then once you've done that, and now if you're struggling with the crossing your legs and stuff, watch the additional video that I provide on how to change that, and make sure that your head is fully supported. And then once you're done, you're probably gonna feel a little achy, so you're just gonna roll off to the side, take that mat away, and then try to just take some breaths laying there. So what you're gonna feel, or what you should feel, is from about here up, you're gonna feel like everything is happy, everything's relaxed, and you'll feel different contacts with the floor.